Welcome to Maximize Living. I'm Dr. Patrick Andersen. Join our co-host Stacy Hansen and myself today as we cover the 5 essentials to a healthy and maximized lifestyle. People are not sick today as much from bad bugs, bad genes, or bad luck as they are from a bad lifestyle. Unfortunately today, 1 in 2 males and 1 in 3 females will receive a cancer diagnosis at some time in their lifetime. It is estimated by 2050, 1 in 3 people will be diabetic in America. Cardiovascular disease is still the #1 killer. Mobility, balance, arthritis, and memory issues plague our elderly. Many experts agree that most of our chronic diseases are largely preventable. Personally, I think it's easier to take care of ourselves on a daily basis and move towards health than to deal with the consequences of not doing so. As Aristotle said, health is a matter of choice, not a mystery of chance. Join us as we cover the 5 essentials. Each of these essentials needs to be addressed in some way if you want to achieve your best health. Stay tuned. Choosing better health starts today.
And welcome back to Maximize Living with Dr. Patrick Andersen. So Dr. Pat, today you mentioned we're talking about the 5 essentials of health and wellness. Now essential number 1 is maximize mind. So that's number 1, seems to be the most important. Then why is this?
Well, really, Stacey, the brain controls everything in the body. It sends signals down the spine and controls every function, every movement of our bodies, all our organ functions. And it's critically important to think well besides just have those nerve signals. And it's one of the paramount problems we have in our society today is stinking thinking, where people really don't have good self-talk. Their overall attitudes and what they're saying is negative. They think more like what if in the negative rather than what if in the positive. The other side of Maximize Mind is brain health. Are we really giving the nutrition to the brain that we need to do? Are we getting proper supplementation? Are we getting proper exercise? Are we watching heavy metal toxicity like mercury and aluminum that can damage the brain, or even drug intake? Dr. Peter Breggin in his book, Prescription Withdrawal from Drugs, says that brain drugs, psychotropic drugs, all cause chronic brain injury over time.
Wow.
So, you know, there's natural healthy ways to help, and we should all enhance our health, I believe, using this as much as humanly possible.
And it's interesting that you're bringing up the point too, it's not just necessarily physical, it's mental too. And so many of us fall into the trap of that negative thinking, and that's easier to do. It's harder to try to think more positively.
It's almost our culture. So one of the things I love is that what if in the positive. Instead of thinking, what if I fail this test while I'll be on the street, I'll lose my job, I'll never get a degree.
So extreme.
Think of in the positive, well, when I get a good grade on this, I'm gonna be able to get a better job, I'm gonna be able to move up in my company, I'm gonna, you know, and you foresee a bright future, because what happens is what you really foresee in your mind.
So what are some of the other areas of a maximized mind?
Well, positive mental management, stress busting, overcoming limiting beliefs. Like we said, what if in the positive? It's also things like positive self-talk. It's about dream list. One of the things I like to do is once every quarter, write down a 3-minute dream list and dream big. I want to have a 747 where I fly around the country take care of dignitaries.
I love that. How fun too. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? So goal setting, that kind of falls in with that too. I mean, these are big, but you can kind of see what you're interested in and what you might like, and kind of take it down a little bit. What can I do now, right?
Yes, exactly. And set goals in every area of your life, whether it be physical, educational, relationship, spiritual. Set goals in every area of your life and have these, and read them every morning. Only 3% of people set goals. And it's interesting, only about 3% of people are super successful. So goal setting, I think, is a big part of it.
I think so too. I think it really focuses your mind. The key though, I think, like you said, is looking at it regularly Because it's easy to just write it down and kind of forget about it.
Or do it on the first of the year and then forget about it as life gets busy.
Yes, which right now I think a lot of people are starting to taper down on those New Year's resolutions.
Exactly.
So what are some things people can do right now to maximize their mind goal setting, and what else?
Well, we can look at the brain chemistry side of it. Some real helpful brain nutrients. Omega-3 fatty acids are grossly deficient in our society. Those fish oils are really essential. 1/4 of the dry weight of the brain is made up of omega-3 fatty acids.
Wow.
So we need those good healthy fats, not bad damaged fats in our body. Such things as avoiding toxins, we mentioned mercury and aluminum. Drink more water. The brain is susceptible to dehydration. Other things where you detox your body are very helpful. There's other nutrient supplements like a daily detox we use. B-complex is very helpful for the brain. So a number of nutrients like that will help the brain. We call blueberries brain berries. They're that healthy for the brain with high antioxidants in them. So there's many things to learn.
And they're delicious too.
Yes, they are.
Well, stay with us. Coming up next, we're going to talk about essential number 2. And welcome back to Maximize Living with Dr. Patrick Andersen. So Dr. Pat, we just talked about essential number 1. Now essential number 2, a maximized nervous system. So tell us about this.
Well, maximized nervous system is probably the most important one, because nothing is going to work right if our brain and our nervous system isn't firing well. It's how we function in the world. It's how we perceive the world. So the brain sends 3 trillion signals a second down the spinal cord out to every organ, every muscle, every tissue, every joint in the body. And the body, when healthy, will send 3 trillion signals back to the brain without interference. And that's where health comes from, when the brain is direct command and control of the body. And a lot of people don't have that as their spines become distorted. So as a chiropractor, we evaluate the spinal alignment to make sure there's no nerve interference and that nervous system is maximized.
So perception too, I mean, that's your whole world right there. That's how important this is. It's not just physical, it's mental too, and
Absolutely.
in turn emotional. So that's one of the benefits, obviously. What are some of the other benefits of a maximized nervous system?
Well, when you maximize your nervous system functionally, you actually have your best posture. And who doesn't want to have good posture? Who wants to walk around all bent over?
Making me think about it now, yeah.
You have your best motion, getting up out of a chair, moving, walking with ease. A lot of people don't walk with ease. You have your best balance. People are afraid of falling on stairs. Mm-hmm. Sleep improves as you don't have the stress on your nervous system. You have better sleep. You have your best sports performance, and that's why chiropractic maximized living and chiropractic care is so popular with many of the athletes and in the Olympics, because their sports performance is better. But we also want to make that performance better as a parent. A less stressed parent, a moving parent without feeling like a knife in the back is going to be a better parent. And a child is going to behave a lot better, less anxious, better sleep, everybody's happy.
If everyone's got their maximized nervous system.
Exactly.
Well, that sounds better already. I mean, this is life quality we're talking about here, people. So how do you know then if you have a maximized nervous system? If things are kind of going well in your life, maybe part of it.
Right, and then we're tempted to think, I feel fine, I'm fine. But pain is a poor monitor of health, so you really don't know if your nervous system is working well or if anything is brewing unless you get a checkup. So when we do that checkup, we'll look for imbalances in the spine and nervous system, posture, range of motion, strength loss, leg length, and that will show the issues.
So what are some things people can do right now, today?
Well, probably call for an appointment to get checked is the most important thing. But other things that really help the nervous system is doing such things as going for a walk, drinking more water so we're not dehydrated, de-stress, do some meditation for a few minutes, deep breathing meditation, take a few supplements that help your nervous system function better. B-complex, for example, is helpful for the nervous system.
Is that something you can find in your typical multivitamin? I mean, do you recommend that typically? Or?
I generally recommend a water-soluble B vitamin complex that breaks down over time. Time-release B-complex, yes. And it's not one of our 5 essential supplements, but it's right up there close. If someone's having some nerve issues, B-complex is very helpful.
And you mentioned omega-3s too, so there's quite a bit you can do at the...
Right, omega-3 for brain health, B complex, but such things as the exercise and the detoxification, sweat more fiber, more water, all help the whole body work better, and each of these essentials work together. An additional area for a maximized nervous system is make sure the extremities are in good alignment. Many people have problems with their feet pronating, rolling in, or their knees are turning in, or their hips, or their pelvis is rotated, or as we look at the upper extremity, a wrist problem, an elbow, or a shoulder problem can irritate and cause problems in the neck, and even the TMJ. Stress somebody, and you can stress the TMJ joint, and that can cause a host of problems with the nervous system. In fact, many people, Stacy, if they have chronic neck pain, their jaw will start to get involved over time.
Just because they're always clenching.
It'll cause the clenching.
Well, stay tuned. We have more coming up right after this. And welcome back to Maximize Living with Dr. Patrick Andersen. So Dr. Pat, we're on essential number 3 of 5, quality nutrition.
Yes, it is a challenge. Many of our foods are not that good quality. It's said that the broccoli we eat today has about 1/5 the nutrients it did 50 years ago.
How is this?
The depleted foods, the depleted soils,
Wow.
and the pressed foods. So maximized quality nutrition is really about eating better quality foods. We realize that 2/3 of Americans are overweight and 1/3 are obese. We've been eating damaged fats and not enough fats. We've replaced healthy fats, saying they're bad for our heart, with damaged fats and low-fat diets that cause us to eat more carbohydrates, and actually driven the obesity epidemic, which obesity tops health charts on every single disease as a cause of it.
Oh, I'd believe it. I mean, it's just not how we're meant to run. But, I can't blame people too. Nutrition does seem so complicated. There's so much information out there, conflicting usually. There's all these supplements out there.
It's a jungle.
What do we do?
It's a jungle out there.
Yeah.
You connect with a good coach, or someone who really knows it, someone that makes common sense to you, and follow good natural advice. As long as it doesn't cost too much, that's important. So what do? It's really quite simple. Eat real food. That's how simple nutrition can be. Eat real food. I love what Jack LaLanne said. If God made it, it's okay to eat. If man made it, don't touch it. We somehow found a way to make food good for shelf life, but not good for human life. And when you think about that, obviously, I'm not a big fan of much canned foods, or hardly any frozen foods for that matter. I'd rather go to the store an extra time and keep it as fresh as humanly possible.
And it's tough for people too, because time is a factor. You're chopping things up and cooking it. What I usually do is I'll make a big batch, and then I'll have it for a couple of days.
Yeah,
is that what you recommend?
Great. But it's also good to rotate your foods so you get different nutrients in you. But so many times we run for convenience food. But those foods are often frozen, they get microwaved, they're in tin foil, they have plastics on them, and what are you really eating? And how nutritious is it? And so it's convenient food. Well, how convenient is it being sick, tired, or dead because you had a lousy lifestyle?
That's a good way to put it. I mean, you can't argue with that. And microwaving in plastics too, that always scares me.
Yeah.
Don't do that. So we've talked a lot about supplements today. If you could give just one, what would it be?
If I could only give one vitamin, vitamin D is such a deficiency in the United States, especially in the upper half of the United States. 70% of Americans have a vitamin D deficiency, and it's actually hard to get too much vitamin D. So Dr. Mercola, if you look up on Mercola.com, he says 50% less cancer death if you have adequate levels of vitamin D. That's a huge statement, but I've seen other studies that support numbers like that. So, and just every day there's something coming out on vitamin D, and it's important for the immune function. So many times when people are sick, take a little more vitamin D. That's often very helpful.
And are you finding too that it's okay to get it from like milk? Because a lot of times that's vitamin D fortified. Does that work?
Well, it's D fortified, but you can't get enough, and there's some concerns with the lactose intolerance because a fair number of people have lactose issues. Sure. And it depends if you want to have, if you have grass-fed milk, which is available now, much better, much healthier. But there are a number of people who are sensitive to milk, and they just stay off it completely. or dairy products. And so a lot of times you can just see how you do with it. If you notice you're congested after having dairy, a half hour later, maybe it's not agreeing with you very well.
Maybe it's not for you. So what other supplements would you say are essential?
Well, I think omega-3 fatty acids are one of the critical ones. 2,000 studies say we're low in omega-3s. It's essential for brain health, it's essential for nerve function, it's essential for just about everything in the body. So omega-3 would be one of them. The other big deficiency is probiotics. We, through our refined food diet, lack of fiber, because somebody might not like vegetables, you know, they don't get enough fiber that feeds the normal bacteria in our body. And 2/3 of our immune function actually comes from the thousands of gut bacteria, different types and strains of gut bacteria that help our immune system function.
Wow, so important. And again, with the dairy, you might not be eating yogurt. Yeah. So stay tuned. We have more of the 5 essentials coming up next. And welcome back to Maximize Living with Dr. Patrick Andersen. So Dr. Pat, we're talking about essential number 4 of 5, maximized oxygen and lean muscle.
Yes, exercise is a requirement for our genes to reproduce well. Most people don't realize that. If you're not exercising, you can't make healthy cells the same as if you are exercising. And so many people don't feel like exercising, right? It takes too long. Well, if you're going to the gym and spending 2 hours or an hour and a half, or you're going long term, it fatigues you. It actually can be hard on your body.
Really?
We're really a proponent of shorter, harder workouts. You may have seen some of these. Well, we have one called Max T3 in our office, and it's 12 different 12-minute workouts. You only do one a day, but it's harder and shorter, and we're actually going to do that in our office on April 18th, Monday at 6 o'clock. In our office at 6502 Normandy Lane. Please give our office a call. And we're going to talk for about 45 minutes on getting fit in this particular topic. And then we're going to do a 12-minute workout to show you just what that's like and how beneficial it is. You feel like when you get done, you don't need to do anything else.
Yeah.
And yet they're all joint-safe exercises done to your own level of exercise ability.
I like this 12 minutes too, because it is, I mean, hard in modern day life to fit this in. Now, do you use, is it strength and cardio too? Do you do the interval?
Yes. Yeah, it's intervals. It's basically 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off. And then when you do that with someone, it just flows so well. And the third set, you are going to failure where you really can't do another push-up. Now, I could do push-ups regularly, but when I go that fast with very little recovery, I'll fail on that third set.
And that way you get it done a lot faster.
You get a lot done faster. And what's fascinating is when you push your body like that, that's where you burn the fat the fastest. When you go to that fatigue level. You also build bone health faster, you build muscle faster, and there's actually a hormone that's released called BDNF, excuse for the long term, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. BDNF is released under high stress exercise like that, and it causes your brain to synapse faster. For 4 or 5 hours, you actually learn faster. It's fascinating. And you get this afterburn with the workout for 4 or 5 hours. You really get through 4 or 5 hours like nothing after you get that workout in.
And you've only committed 12 minutes to this. You could do this right before a big test or a big presentation at work.
It's great for students to learn that.
So what are some of the other things that you teach?
Well, we teach about cardio training, other types of cardio, and we do a rehab in our clinic where we'll teach low back, neck exercises, and shoulder rehab, for example, things like that.
Great. So now we also have to hit essential number 5, minimize toxins. So that's a scary word, toxins. So it sounds pretty important.
It's pretty important, and it's not well understood this day and age about toxins, and so many people get afraid, well, everything's toxic, so why even bother?
Yeah.
But that doesn't work out so well either. So we want to be aware that the water we drink, we want to have good quality water, and the food we eat, watch the additives, preservatives. We want to watch for the things we get exposed to in our foods, our BPA can linings, BPA in water, additives, preservatives. We eat about 20 pounds of additives a year.
20 pounds
of additives a year.
Oh, wow.
And so, and that's not, we didn't have these things 50 years ago. So it's hard on our bodies. Body's kind of what's going on. Many of these things are hormone disruptors they disrupt your hormone balance, they're toxic to your body, and they cause a lot of toxic symptoms.
That is scary because it really does seem like it's everywhere. We talked about can linings, BPA. I mean, that's in, I would assume, even some water bottles.
Yeah, plastic, yeah, you bet.
So what are some things people can do right now in this, what seems to be an overwhelming
Put
topic?
less in and have your body function and get more toxins out. So how do you get more toxins out? Drink more water, it's as simple as that. Sweat more, have more fiber, that'll carry toxins out. And then put less in. Less drugs whenever you can, less processed foods, less alcohol, artificial sweeteners, watch those kind of things.
Well, thanks so much. Lots of good tips you can use today. Stay with us. We have more right after this.
Today we learned about the 5 essentials of maximized living. Each one of them plays an essential role in achieving your best health. We learned that healthy living, more than anything else, is a choice. We learned that it's actually easier to address these 5 essentials on a daily basis than to deal with the consequences of not doing so. Our job in the more than 450 maximized living clinics in the United States and Canada is help you integrate these 5 essentials into your lifestyle. If you are in pain, sick and tired, or want to get started on building a healthier lifestyle, I urge you to learn more about maximized living. In our clinics, we start first and foremost with a spine and nervous system checkup. It's hard to go anywhere in health without a healthy structure and nerve system. For an appointment, call 608-833-1282 today or schedule online at madisonml.com. Live well, and until next time, God bless.